My friend, less than 3 weeks out from the 2026 NFL Draft, Howie Roseman has his eyes on a name that could define the Eagles' offensive line for years to come. And what makes this story even more interesting is that this player is considered one of the top talents in the entire class. But a shadow of uncertainty hanging over him could make him fall right into the hands of the right franchise at the right moment. A prospect who was a 3-year starter, who played in the national championship game, and who both Mel Kiper Jr. and Daniel Jeremiah ranked among the top 10 players in the entire 2026 draft class. But there is a window, my friend. A window that Howie Roseman knows exactly how to exploit. I'm going to tell you who this player is, why the Eagles are being projected to trade up the board to get him, and what this pick means for the present and future of Jalen Hurts' offense. But before that, if you're a diehard Eagles fan, and you want the latest news from the team right here on the channel, hit that like button and subscribe right now because the draft is coming, and the content is not stopping. The story starts in Miami, at the University of the Hurricanes. An offensive tackle who spent 3 seasons being one of the most consistent blockers in college football. A player with a guard's build, big, dense, with a powerful lower body, but who moves with the fluidity and technique of a top-tier tackle. The kind of prospect that Super Bowl contenders dream of having on their offensive line. We are talking about Francis Mauigoa. According to NFL.com analyst Lance Zierlein, he is a highly touted prospect who met expectations as a durable 3-year starter at right tackle, with the ability to start immediately in the NFL and with a potential future move to guard. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network described Mauigoa as a big, powerful right tackle prospect with a massive lower body who plays with a firm base in pass protection and has the full skill set to be a dominant run blocker from day one. And now, the question that is everywhere: why would a player with that profile fall to pick number 16? Which is where sharp football analyst Brendan Donahue projects the Eagles trading up to select him. The answer has 2 sides. The first is clinical. Mauigoa ended the 2025 college season, which included the national championship game, with a back issue that generated enough concern to send him to the combine recheck on April 10th. Ian Rapoport of NFL Network reported that Mauigoa, potentially the top tackle in the draft, decided to attend the recheck for additional imaging on a minor back issue that caused him some discomfort late in the season. That news was enough to make some teams hesitate. But the second chapter of this story came shortly after. Mike Garafolo, also of NFL Network, confirmed that the recheck was completed with no new issues or concerns, and that Mauigoa had already met and visited with teams in the top third of the first round, a clear sign of his own confidence that any doubts would be put to rest. The second side is positional. Most analysts see Mauigoa as a right tackle or potentially a guard at the NFL level. And in the NFL, the left tackle is historically the first lineman off the draft board. Teams that need an elite left tackle will likely pass on him. If teams in the top 10 don't see Mauigoa as a solution at the blind side, he could slide. And when he slides, Howie Roseman shows up. Donahue was very precise in describing the logic behind this projection. Roseman rarely sits still with his original first-round pick. He has traded his original pick 6 of the last 7 years, and has traded up in the last 3 consecutive. Roseman's pattern is to identify a player who is falling for some reason and strike before anyone else recognizes the value. And with Mauigoa, the script fits perfectly. A top 10 talent with a medical concern that has already been resolved, but that still scares more conservative teams. Now, why the Eagles specifically? My friend, let's talk about the reality of Philadelphia's offensive line right now. On paper, the starting 5 still has elite names. Jordan Mailata at left tackle, Landon Dickerson at left guard, Cam Jurgens at center, Tyler Steen at right guard, and Lane Johnson at right tackle. But underneath that appearance of solidity, there are alarms that cannot be ignored. Lane Johnson spent a good part of 2025 off the field with a Lisfranc sprain, an injury that was initially expected to keep him out for 2 to 3 weeks, and ended up costing him the last 8 games of the regular season. Johnson confirmed he will return for a 14th season in 2026, but at 34 years old, nobody knows how many complete seasons he has left. The numbers don't lie. When Johnson doesn't play, the Eagles have gone just 15-27 since 2016. He is not just a good tackle. He is the backbone of a system. Landon Dickerson, after speculation about early retirement, confirmed he is back in 2026, but the physical issues, knees, and a general uncertainty around durability mean that any long-term planning cannot rely on him alone. Cam Jurgens, the center, is carrying a back injury that, according to multiple reports, probably should have kept him out of Super Bowl 59 2 years ago. He played through the pain, because that's what Eagles linemen do. But playing hurt and being healthy are two very different things. In other words, the line that has been the Eagles' single greatest competitive advantage over the last decade is entering a transition. And Howie Roseman has a history of anticipating these transitions, not reacting to them. The question is not whether the line will need new blood. The question is when, and Roseman knows that right now is the time to act. Francis Mauigoa solves immediate and future problems at the same time. In the short term, he comes in as elite depth at right tackle, exactly the most vulnerable position on the roster given Johnson's injury history. In the long term, he can succeed Johnson on the right side of the line, or even shift to guard if Dickerson can't hold the position. A player who can start as a luxury backup and develop into a Pro Bowl starter. That is the kind of investment that defines dynasties. And there is another detail that rarely comes up in this conversation, but that matters a great deal. The Eagles are debuting a new offensive line coach in 2026. Chris Kuper comes in to replace Jeff Stoutland, a legend who guided this generation of linemen through their entire run of success. Every new coaching staff needs an early win, a player they can call their own. Having a prospect of Mauigoa's magnitude to develop from day one would be exactly the kind of gift that accelerates the process of a new coach building his identity with a group. The financial cost of the trade also needs to be put in context. Moving from 23 up to 16 is not cheap. For that kind of jump, 7 spots in the first round, the Eagles would likely need to offer at least an additional second or third round pick, possibly even a future second. That is a real cost. But Roseman has managed the Eagles' cap and picks with a clear vision of when that price is worth paying. And an offensive line that protects Jalen Hurts and opens holes for Saquon Barkley is not a luxury. It is the foundation of everything the Eagles build. Mauigoa specifically has the physical profile that the Eagles' system has historically valued. He is not a lean, athletic tackle who uses quickness to neutralize pass rushers. He is big, dense, and grounded, with the ability to dominate at the point of attack on day one. Saquon Barkley, who last season led the league in rushing yards, benefits directly from a blocker who can open holes in the run game. And Jalen Hurts in a clean pocket is a completely different quarterback from a Hurts under pressure. With the 2026 draft approaching, and the stakes never higher for the continuation of the Eagles' winning cycle, the question that remains is this. With Lane Johnson aging, Dickerson's health in question, and offensive line depth being the Achilles' heel of this roster, do you think Howie Roseman should give up extra picks to trade up and secure Francis Mauigoa? Or does the medical history still concern you enough to stay at 23 and bet on another name? Drop your opinion in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoy this content and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Eagles updates. I'll be back later with the latest news from the team.